Hello.
Hi, Andy. How was your day today?
My target is Claire. She is, to put nicely, a conniving bitch. It was a day. She just is so good with words, is really strategic, has basically backstabbed everyone I know and love, and I feel like it just would be the best play to get her out.
Before the round starts, I kind of just want to see where Andres is.
Final four. Woo!
No, fucking psycho. I've just been really worried that I basically have no chance because in the Friends or Foe survey, he said that at the end he wants to sit with Noah. Noah seems very ready to vote me out.
She gets power. I think she's coming for me. But
No, she's definitely coming for me. She said fuck you. She was mouthing fuck you, bitch, to me.
I think she meant that for me.
No, why would she call you a bitch?
Okay, well, this is just all the more reason that the two of us should go to the end.
I think she's my strongest competitor right now, and I think I might need to cut a deal with her.
Okay, cool. I thought you were leaning the other way, so.
No, I think that the two of us deserve to sit at the end. I think we've done the most.
That's so sweet. I agree with you. I would choose you too.
I'm not sure if I believe him. I'm not sure if he believes him.
I just need to think about who I'm going to be sitting with at the end. And right now, I am unsure if Claire would bring me. I think Noah would bring me, and I'm pretty sure Andy would not.
Fight!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 32 of Fight or Flight.
For the first time in ages, I'm actually feeling confident about making it to the end of this thing. So I'm ready to just get going and start fighting my way to the end here.
Now that we are at Final Four, there will be no more flight options. You must fight your way to the end of this game, which makes your options very clear. Win or lose.
We've had options through this whole game, but Final Four, it gets real nitty-gritty, and it's every man for himself.
As I have been teasing for the last few days, tonight you will be tested on the facts of this game. One at a time, you will each have a chance to compete for safety in the game prior to the vote tonight.
Anthony brings us into a PowerPoint of doom.
This competition is called Chain of Fighters, and here's how it'll work. On my go, you will delete the black square covering the puzzle. You will see a chain of boxes, some with clues and some that are blank. Your job is to put each player in the correct blank box, making sure they apply to all the clues touching that box. Some players may fit in more than one spot, but it will only be right should everything else line up. The person with the fastest time will win. Additionally, if you can't solve it in under 15 minutes, you'll be scored on how many you have correctly guessed at that time.
On the board, we've got all of these empty boxes next to all of these clues. So the puzzle here is trying to figure out who fits where, because people can fit in multiple locations, but there's only one possible way that everybody fits in once.
On your mark, get set, go.
I'm not feeling super vulnerable, so I don't feel like I absolutely need this competition win. But at the same time, it's a goal of mine to just come out on top here.
Nominated Daysec. That's me and Matt. And I also didn't know my house.
I've studied up. I feel like I know this game inside and out. So I go in and I start trying to pick out some of these clues that have two answers and try to start piecing some of the puzzle together that way. This is a lot of information all at once. We've got 31 days of this competition. I'm feeling good about like the long strings.
Sebastian won a competition. Who else won a competition? Okay, we're going to wait on that.
But there's a corner of this puzzle of clues and empty spaces, and they're all up against one another.
Blue team. Who left was on the blue team? Sarah was. Ayana was. Shit.
I start getting really, really frustrated because I know this game, and there are some things that are just not fitting. Namely, there's one square that says blue team.
Neither one of them was on fucking blue team, though.
I know that when we played this, I was on the blue team. I know who my teammates were.
these people were all on fucking red.
I am getting confused as all hell because I know there are pieces that should be fitting here that aren't. I am dragging and dropping pieces in this corner, just getting more and more fed up.
I'm gonna say check.
I'm very certain about the parts of this puzzle that I have done, to the point that I know it's just this square in the corner.
Blue team, Sarah, Ayana. Oh, but none of them were top 3 friends or foes. Ayana was. No, but that doesn't. Fuck. The only person that can go on the memory portion here is Ayana.
But anytime I've got Ayana there, someone's not fitting over here.
So who else was on blue team and was a top 3 friend or foe? I was, but I can only go over here.
My not being able to fit these puzzle pieces together means that there are not just a couple of missing pieces, but several things throughout the puzzle that are thrown off.
Anna was not safe on lead or follow. No, she was safe on lead or follow. There we go. Just fucked up over this blue team thing.
I think I need this challenge win pretty badly. I am not sure how much farther people want to go with me.
Let's see. You want to challenge day 17? Receive votes on day 4.
As I'm doing this challenge, I'm feeling pretty good about my odds. I really love competition stats. I think I have a pretty good memory.
Completed memory portion of the relay race was Joe, and then that was the other one. I see. Good thing I'm not dumb. Don't waste any time. Don't waste any time. Middle.
But as I'm doing it, I'm choking a little and freezing up.
Not safe on lead or follow. I don't know what that is.
So I'm definitely doing a lot of plugging people in at certain places and then realizing that that's wrong and then quickly trying to put them in the right place, even myself.
No, he definitely... Oh, I didn't do the memory team. Oh my god, I'm so dumb.
I thought that I played the memory game in the relay competition, and I definitely did not.
Where the fuck am I? Oh, fuck. I have no idea where I am.
But eventually I find the right place for myself, and I think I'm going to finish this puzzle.
I need this win so badly. If I don't fucking win this, I'm obviously going home. Every single person I don't trust, I'm playing with. So it's not looking good. Like, Claire cannot win safety. Like, that's just what has to happen. Oh no, day 6 is Matt or Noah. So let's see Matt. I know their house. Yes. I'm guessing that's Noah. I'm really nervous because I feel really alone, but I'm gonna try my best. I actually made some flashcards using a fucking slideshow because I'm a visual learner, so I'm trying to remember all those fucking slides, trying to connect the names by days and competition stuff. It's still really hard because I didn't write every single thing down, so that bites me in the ass. I'm just thinking, like, just remember what happens, remember slides. Yeah, this doesn't feel true, but okay, can I get this checked?
Andy, it is incorrect. As soon as you turn around, I'm going to restart your time, but I'm also going to remind you of the instruction that you are putting these in the blank boxes.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking, wow, I really want to die right now. Oh, okay. Performance, not good. Time, awful. I feel like I did pretty good for someone with shit-ass memory. Okay, can I get a check, please?
Completed memory portion of relay race. Well, I know that Jasmine did that. I don't know if I want to win this round. I think I'm in kind of a good position. I have a lot of blood on my hands. I'm not that willing to get any more. Obviously, it would be great to win, but I'm not trying to scare any of the other players. Okay, I actually think this is me because I want to challenge. I was voted off my team. I guess I chose. I prepared a lot for tonight. I made a song so I could remember the days. I made flashcards. I made a mnemonic device so that I could remember who got eliminated. It's like, come see my wet cat. I already forgot it. I'm not gonna win. I don't have a good memory. I'm not gonna win. I don't know if it's in my best interest to win right now.
Matt was nominated on day 6. Noah was nominated on day 6. 1, 4, 6, 11. Okay. Didn't know their house. Definitely Noah and definitely Joe because he was blah, blah, blah.
There's a challenge called Lead or Follow. I do not remember that. I think I was in a coma that week or something because I have no fucking recollection of this Lead or Follow thing. Okay, I think I lose.
As you know, the winner of this challenge will win safety for the round. Noah and Andy, please turn off your cameras. You did not win.
I knew all of these nitty-gritty details. I knew who the people were in these very specific clues. And yet something as stupid as fucking up red versus blue is the thing that ultimately screwed me in the end. And so I am pissed off.
I'm fucked. If Claire wins this fucking safety, I am done. It's over. There's no way of convincing anybody.
This leaves us with Claire and Andres.
You know when you were like a kid and you bombed a test and then you get your test back and your original score was a C, but with the curve, it's like an A-? That's how I felt when I found out I was in the final two. I was like, this is not a proud moment for me. This is a shameful moment for all of us that I did so fucking shitty and I still did better than Noah and Andy.
And the winner is Andres. Congratulations, Andres. You are safe. Everyone can turn their videos on. Andres was the only person to complete it without timing out.
I feel so relieved that I am safe, that I'm definitely making it to final three. I feel like I won right when I needed to, and it feels good that this is the competition that I won.
Congratulations, Andres. You are safe from elimination. Anyone else is fair game.
Andres, Noah, and I finally are made in the spades. I mean, we could pack it up, boys. Like, the night's kind of over. Unless someone pulls something psychotic, Andy's going home.
The boarding pass will give you a 50-50 chance to nullify any votes cast against you. After the votes are in, I will spin a wheel, then say safe or not safe. If it lands on safe, all votes cast against the person you used the power on will not count. If it lands on not safe, the votes will be counted as is. This power must be played this round, whether it is on yourself or someone else. It cannot be used on someone who already has safety. I'm very excited to have a power, period. But I'm nervous because it can be I'm not safe and then I'm fucked. Basically, I'm just asking if we could get Claire out since she is on the block. Anything can happen, so I'm just really focused on making sure that I can get people to flip on Claire. It'll be a fair game between you, me, and Andres. If you guys want to get me out the next round, completely fine. Know that if it's final two, you and Andres, which it probably will be, I'm not a strong competitor at all, I will give you my vote. And I will convince other jury members to vote for you as well. I solemnly swear.
All right. I'm into it. I'm excited by the possibility of maybe throwing something in a different direction here, just right at the very end. She has pissed off a lot of people, and Andy promised me a vote and potential sway of the jury in my favor if I help her.
I have to talk to Andres, and so I'm going to give him a call and see what his thoughts are, because he would be the tie-breaking vote for sure, because otherwise it will probably be 2-2, you and Claire.
It's going to come down, I think, to whether Andres is willing to flip this vote or not.
I definitely want to talk to him and see if I can make this work, because I think I'm with you. I think it's time to see Claire get out of here.
Where's Noah?
Good question.
Okay. My spidey senses were tingling, and I was like, he's in a call with Andy, and this is where it happens. This is where I get voted out.
You think he's talking to Andy?
Probably. Who else would he be talking to? We're at the point where he's in one other conversation, and we know who it's with, and we know the other person that they would want to vote out because you're safe. Oh my God, he's totally gonna do that. Okay, well,
you know what? I kind of understand it. I feel like he probably realizes that he needs to make a move, but also I don't think it's gonna work.
The plan is I tell her I'd loop her in after I talk to Andres. I then immediately jump into a call with Claire and Andres.
So everyone's gung-ho to vote out Andy.
I mean, that's fine by me.
Okay.
It the most sense here.
And then we have a gentleman's game for our final three and just duke it out.
That seems to be, kind of the the vibe here for me. Any objections?
I'm worried that Andy's gonna sway you in the next 15 minutes.
Considering I really haven't spoken to Andy this entire game, I wouldn't worry too much.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. That settles it. Wrap this call up, and then I'll call Andres to see if he is interested.
I try and keep them occupied for as long as possible so they don't even have time to strategize and vote me out. So we talk a little bit about game, and then I just fucking talk about whatever the fuck I can think about. I've been like craving church. I thought that'd be like super relatable, but yeah.
But then this call goes on for like a really long time.
I think like the most interesting thing I read on QAnon was like reply all.
I'm just waiting for something interesting to happen or somebody to log off.
I'm gonna hop in a chat with Andy and pay some respects.
Good. Sounds good.
Bye.
Okay.
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
I don't really know what to say. I know that the votes could definitely swing my way, given that you three are working together.
I have a pretty difficult conversation with Andy.
Not to guilt trip you, but you have gotten out most of everyone that loves you. I'm gonna start from there.
Not you got rid of everyone who loves you.
Yeah, besides your two friends. There, I'm a friend too, but you did help throw out Jasmine. So I spoke to Noah already. I'm hoping that we can get Claire out, given that she's a really strong competitor.
She tries to sway me to vote for Claire.
You guys have better odds against me losing. Honestly, if I have to throw myself under the bus next time, I will do it. If it's up to you and Noah that wants to be final two, don't care.
I'm definitely trying to hear her argument out. I'm definitely still a little nervous about Claire.
Listen,
I don't have a lot of time to make this decision.
You don't. One, if we flip on Claire, then she gets out, period. She honestly should have been a player that should have gone out a long time. I've been wanting her to get out like fully for a long time because she is a strong competitor. I think this is maybe the first challenge that she didn't win, but she has won every single challenge. If I do leave right now, I'm not going to feel great, and I'm going to be in that jury chat. I'm going to be talking it up. So just letting you know,
Okay.
If you vote me out, I'm not going to fucking vote for you. I'm going to make sure no one fucking votes for you. So think about this really hard.
Okay.
We have like very few time to make the pitch. I kind of still think that it's best with the three of us, but I will hear you out very quickly. Go.
That's totally fine. I figured that was going to be the case, but I wanted to run it by. Essentially, I want to sit at the end with you, and I feel like either one of us could take Andy out in a competition next week to ensure that the two of us are sitting at the end.
Once again, I find myself in a position of making a really difficult choice, being that deciding vote.
Hello, top four. The odds are against me and Jen, and I know that. I would really love to not join jury right now in the best way possible. I'm really surprised that I'm still here because all of my main alliances are gone. So really it depends on game, and all I can say is that if I leave right now, I will be very nasty in terms of the votes that I will have jury, and I feel like, I was a friend. I get along with most of the people on jury right now. I will do absolutely everything I can in order to fight for you if I'm not in top two. Odds are against me. I will say, unfortunately, my biggest fear is that Claire does stay in this game because she is a really great competitor, and you should definitely think about that. And nicely, Claire, I respect your game. Really, truly, you are so strategic. And because of that, I hate you as a player. I think you're a wonderful person, but somehow you have managed to get every single one of my friends out. And that's all I have to say to everyone else. She has given her word to people and then has not voted for them. So, I've given my word to some of you. So, whatever, I hope for the best. That's all I gotta say. If I'm on that jury right now, I will make sure no one fucking votes for you. If I'm on that jury later, I will make sure everyone gets votes for you. Be fucking smart about this. Don't be a fucking dumbass.
Andy, I'm sure you will make good on your promise to be a bitter juror. I think that you would also pull in a fuck ton of jury votes. So if there's someone here who's feeling like maybe it's worth it to boot me out so that you don't get one vote against you. I'm telling you that Andy would beat both of you in a landslide, Andres and Noah. I 100% believe that. As she just said, all of her friends are on the jury, and there's just no fucking way.
She's the last one of a huge alliance. All the other alliance members are sitting on the jury. What could you really say at that point?
I feel really calm this vote. That's never been good in this game, in my opinion. So it makes me think that something's going on. If it's my time to go, it's my time to go. I think it would be a stupid strategic move on everyone else's part. Andy, I don't want you to go either. Unfortunately, it kind of seems like the choices you were made tonight. So obviously, I would rather not leave.
I'm feeling confident enough, and I trust Noah and Andres based on the other votes that we have done.
Noah, you are also vulnerable. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I guess I'll speak on that. It feels like the vote is in my favor tonight, which is nice to feel at least a little more secure than usual while standing on this block. Knowing that it is kind of between the two of you, Andy and Claire, I think the two of you have both played really impeccable games. I think that you both have like serious cases for you. I feel like very nervous right now knowing that like my vote either way is kind of going to really cement things here. And I just want you to both to know that like I'm doing what I feel is best for my game here. This game is getting like really nitty gritty, and it comes down to like who I think I stand a chance against. And it's not personal. It really is just individual about myself and moving myself forward in the rest of this game.
Final thing, I feel like Clara has made a really great case against me. She's right. I am very likable. I can be likable, but I'm not a strong player. Like, it's just true. I did not win this competition. I've had some struggles, so I want to put that out there. If it's top 3, whatever, I'm not going to lie to you about this kind of stuff. Really, like I'm kind of exhausted a little bit because I'm feeling a bit defeated. All of my friends are not here. I'm a newbie. Really, like, think about that and like, what can jury look like for you? What is this next competition going to look like? Even though Anthony always has something up his sleeve, but you know, in terms of competition, who is really your competition? I've said this again. I said this before. That's all I really have to say. Please, don't vote for Claire. She is a backstabbing bitch. She has eliminated every single person that she promised she would not eliminate. You have no fucking chance against her. Let's be fucking honest. You can't depend on her likability because jury will still enjoy the game maybe.
I have one thing to say, which is just I have seen time and time again in this game the affable newbie who hasn't really felt like they played that well does. Andy, you've played a beautiful game. And a first-time winner, that's an attractive thing to a juror. And I think someone like Andy, I would vote for Andy if Andy makes it to the end.
Noah and Andres, you're both safe. It comes down to the two of you. But before we announce the vote, a power has been enacted.
I had no idea there were still any powers in this game. I thought that they had all been flushed out, that they had all expired.
I'm shocked. I don't know who's played it. I wonder if Claire or Andres has just done something really fucking insane.
That's like the craziest moment ever.
The power of the boarding pass allows for a 50-50 chance to nullify all votes against the person it is played for. Andy has selected to play it for herself. So we are now going to go to a wheel. If it says safe, Andy will be safe. If it says not safe, Andy will not be safe. Here we go.
This is about to be chaos.
Good luck.
This wheel is spinning. I don't know what I want to happen.
It's a 50-50 shot.
As the wheel was like going and going, I was like thinking about what I was gonna say.
Of course, I am not safe.
Andy, that means that the boarding pass has not worked effectively. The person eliminated from fight or flight is Andy. I'm sorry, Andy, but you have been eliminated from the competition.
Noah unintentionally convinces me to keep Claire instead.
I think Andy is a person that, like, if it went to her and someone else at jury, I think she could take any one of us.
He just reconfirmed for me that me and him and Claire have the best chances against each other at the end. I think you unintentionally convinced me to keep Claire, honestly. I think if Andy has a better chance of winning at the end, then I don't want to risk that happening. I think I can trust Claire more than Andy at this point in the game. I do totally agree that it is very possible Claire might not take me. If she wins the challenge, she probably has a good chance of winning the next challenge. I totally see that, but I think that this is somehow less risky.
The decision is made that he does not want to vote to send Claire home, and I'm not about to make this a tie vote and really fuck things up when I have a chance to make it to the end here.
Pretty disappointed. Mostly sad that the boarding pass didn't work. I did get that from Jasmine, so I'm super, super happy. I'm not entirely sure what the results look like. Will I find that out later? I don't know. Who knows? Whatever. I will say that I told you I will vote for you. Hopefully I will. If I didn't, I'm not at this point. You know, I really didn't expect to be here for so long. Wish you all a great game. Andres, this is another vote you will not be receiving at all. So this is really up to Noah and Claire and however I'm feeling. But yeah, that's kind of how we're feeling right now. So peace out, everybody.
She did call Andres out and said that there's no way that he's getting a jury vote from her. I think I'm still in good enough graces that I have Andy's vote at the end of this thing.
You put up a great fight, but it's time for you to flight.
Bye. I feel fucking awful. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. I can't believe that people have felt like this and it's all because of me. This game has been great. It has brought out my competitive side, which has been dormant for a bit. Next time, I'm gonna follow my gut because my gut was telling me this entire time, get Andres and Claire out and never fucking listen to them, and now they're fucking top 3. I feel really stupid because I should have never listened or trusted any of them. They're just kind of the worst players. So yeah, I'm not feeling great. I'm really, really bitter, but also that feeling of anxiety is gone. I'm gonna be in jury with a bunch of people I actually fucking like, so feels good. All I gotta say is, fuck all of you.
Hello, Final 3. Welcome to day 34.
This is the final 3 I imagined, so it's kind of crazy to see that it worked out so well for me. Knock on wood, because I don't know if maybe one of the other 2 is going to pick the other, but I think I have a pretty great case for myself.
I can't believe I'm sitting here at the end with these 2 people that I've played this game with. I'm just now trying to figure out, who I actually want to sit at the end of this thing with.
As you know, tomorrow one of you will be crowned the winner of the first ever season of Fight or Flight. Now, let me explain to you the format for this final round of the competition. Tonight, you will not be voting to eliminate. You will instead be voting to save someone, guaranteeing them their spot in the final 2. After one of you is awarded safety, the 2 vulnerable players will compete in a final competition that will dictate who makes it to the end of the game with them. In case it wasn't already clear, you cannot vote for yourself for safety. Lastly, in the case of a split vote, we will go to a wheel in which the person selected will be the one to go to final 2.
The gag of the season.
There's not going to be a competition first.
We are going to be voting not to eliminate, but each one of us gets a vote on who we want to send straight to the final 2.
And the other 2 are going to battle it out.
If we all vote for different people, it'll just be up to a wheel. So it's a really difficult decision.
This decision can win or lose you the game, so make sure you choose very wisely. Not only are you granting someone a spot at the end of the game, whoever you are not granting it to will have a final chance to add something to their resume should they win. And lastly, you may just lose a jury vote if you send the wrong person out.
I don't have much to say to Andres. We've already made a final 2, so I just message him. He's like, what are you thinking? I'm like, okay, well, obviously I'm going to save you. And then he's like, well, obviously I'm going to save you too.
I think she's just the harder one to beat in a competition, and I think it's smartest to put her name down. But that kind of leaves it all up to Noah.
I'm leaning towards Andres, but I also know that Claire definitely made some enemies in this group. So I'm panicking about who I want to sit next to.
I'm not actually going to try and convince you to save me. It's more I'm going to try and convince you that you could not win against Andres because I don't think that you could. Anna, guaranteed vote for Andres. Ayana, guaranteed vote for Andres.
Andy pretended that she wouldn't vote for Andres, but she 100% would. Noah choosing Andres to save and bring to the end is a really horrible idea for him.
I think I've got like 4 votes, and then there's 4 votes that are definitively Andres, and then there's kind of a toss-up, but it leans Andres, I feel like.
It would be easier to villainize me than to do this uphill battle against Andres. Andres has people who will actively campaign and fight for him in ways that I don't know if we even know how hard they would fight with him. And I like you, and I think you're a good player, and I also think you have friends. But I think the fairest final 2 is you and me. Because as much as I did have this alliance with the girls, the reason that I worked with you guys is because I knew I was at the bottom of that, and I actively fucked them over. So I don't think it's like automatic votes for me. In fact, I think it would be very, very, very difficult for me. So I'm just telling you honestly, I do not think really either of us have a chance against Andres just because of the way that this jury is shaking out.
She makes a very strong and compelling point that neither one of us could probably beat Andres in the end of this thing.
That's kind of how I'm feeling too, is I know Andres had some really tight folks, and I had a few that I think are pretty definitely my way, but the other ones are very up in the air. And I agree. It's like Anna's a pretty definitive vote for Andres. Jasmine, I feel like, is still like she's one of the swings, but I feel like she would still lean Andres if it were him versus maybe either one
of
us.
But if it was you versus me, she would 100% vote for you.
She starts to freak me out a little bit, and I'm really starting to listen to what she's saying, and I think she might be right.
You've definitely given me a lot to think about, and like my mind is not made up, and you made a really good case for yourself.
I probably have a better chance against her than I do against Andres.
Noah and Claire have a very long conversation, and I'm worried about that.
Ultimately, I think you played the better game. As a result, I think I have a worse chance if I'm sitting next to you in the final 2.
He is worried about going up against me. He acknowledges that I played a really good game and that he doesn't think he could beat me. I think you definitely would have CJ and Tegan. I think you will probably have all the people I've fucked, which is Ayana and Andy.
You know, some of the people that Claire thought were sure bets for him, he seems to think are not.
Those are some of the ones that I'm like big toss-ups. Like Andy,
they are toss-ups. Okay, I'll be
show. Like,
I'll be fair with you. I think
the ones I'm feeling, I feel confident in having Tegan and Joe's vote.
It's going to come down to some swing votes.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess I'll just say that in that elimination, when you basically pitched Owen to go instead of me, I was on a downward, like me having to talk to a jury is going to be a fucking nightmare. Like I have major foot in mouth. I just say all the wrong things. I misremember everything. And so, I mean, that's just a case against like me being able to defend myself in jury, which I'm very nervous about anyways.
Drace seems significantly less confident in anything that he's saying. He feels as nervous about this, I think, as I do, or at least he's playing it off very well.
Yeah, I'm sure Claire made a much better argument for herself, which is just an indication of, which is just a preview of jury, by the way. Claire is a really good talker, and she would be hard to beat in the finale. The other thing is, if you're going to vote to save Claire, that means you're going to be battling against me. And I did win the last one.
Yeah.
So that is a consideration. Claire is also a really fierce competitor, but in this specific category.
That's the thing. It's like both of you are definitely like very strong contenders.
I will say I would be most scared to go up against me in this challenge.
I am trying to get my mind wrapped around who I think I would like to sit next to in the end.
Okay, yeah, you've given me a lot to think about.
I feel in my gut that I want to go to the end of this thing with Andres, but I'm feeling in my brain that Claire is the smarter choice if I'm going to be able to pull victory here.
As you know, tonight you will be voting to save someone, granting them a spot in the final 2. To start off, I'm going to just throw you all the floor. What's going through your mind as you make this difficult choice? See Noah's head shaking.
I have murder on my mind. This is absolutely horrible. I hate this. I still don't know what I'm doing, to be completely honest. Like, I am still trying to make up my mind at this very moment.
So it seems like Noah's vote is up in the air. Andres and Claire, do you want to say anything? No?
Okay, it's hard because you don't know what to say, because giving anyone else knowledge is very well could change the results of what happens. So all I know is that we're all really fierce competitors and we all have fairly equal chances at the jury. So I think this is really hard for everyone.
Andres did bring up information is, delicate. It's delicate to reveal in front of this group. Do we feel like tonight's conversation beforehand is helpful at all? Does there need to be more speaking? Or is everyone kind of, I want to just sit quiet and let's go to the vote?
What do you need to know, Noah?
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
Everyone has made their pitch. Everyone has made a good pitch. It's just really trying to figure out exactly what the best move is here. I don't know that there's any new information I could get that would really help this decision.
Okay.
So, do we want to go to the vote?
I guess so. Fuck.
All I'm gonna say is I think there's one person here who very obviously it's not an equal chance, and I think we all know who that person is, and that's how I feel.
Please write down who you are voting to save now.
So we're ready to give our vote. In a moment of instinct, I guess, I write down.
Congratulations, Andres. You have secured your spot in the final two.
I am absolutely shocked. I really didn't think that was going to happen. I was certain that Noah was going to pick Claire. I don't know if what I said actually convinced him, but I'm really touched. Maybe I should be insulted because they both think they can beat me at the end, but I'm mostly just kind of touched.
So I'm very happy for Andres. I think he just won himself $100. I was really shocked that Noah did such a stupid decision, but at the same time, I guess he probably has his reasons. I don't understand them at all, but more power to him.
If I'm going to lose to someone in the end, I would rather lose to Andres. And also, I know that this competition is memory-based, and Andres won the memory challenge last round.
Claire and Noah, we will now go into a sudden death competition. This competition will be a 12-part scavenger hunt. Each leg is inspired by a round of the competition. On my go, you can click on the first link and start from there. Each leg of the race will require you to figure out the code to unlock the next leg. The person to finish in the fastest amount of time will be the winner of the competition and earn their place in the final two. On your mark, get set, go.
I need to win or else I'll lose. So I need to win really bad. I don't have any more tricks up my sleeve.
I feel like I've really done my studying. I'm not going to let the stupid red versus blue team thing from last game throw me off. I know this game, and I'm ready to not only prove my knowledge, but also come in clutch with this competition victory. So the first challenge is based on quick math, which was the challenge in the first week.
How does this even work? What the fuck? So this is... Oh, okay.
There are several math problems that you can do in your head on the screen. As you click and type out the answer to each one, it gives you a puzzle piece.
The quick math puzzle is not hard and would not be hard for any of your run-of-the-mill 8-year-olds. What? Oh my god. 26 minus 11 is 15. 24 minus 8 is 17. What the fuck, 16? I would not say that arithmetic is my strong suit. I'm not good at mental math. I get through it pretty quickly. I wouldn't say I'm a speed demon.
I bang out all the math problems, so I've got the pieces in front of me.
Okay, time to put this shit together. Leg 1, quick math.
And I start dragging them to their locations.
Shit. Okay, that's the puzzle.
It puts together a picture that says you have to take the number of letters in the top 3 friends' names and subtract the number of letters in the top 3 foes' names.
This is the most fucking evil shit I've ever heard of in my entire fucking life.
So that's Tegan, T-A-G-A-N, Jasmine, and Andy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
12, 13, 5.
I type in 5 and I'm on to the next question.
Let's give it a shot. Ooh,
hello. To unlock this next leg of the hunt, you will need the first letter of each eliminated player's name. Oh, that's very easy. Okay. Come see my wet cat. Show all of the juicy candy.
Come see my wet cat. Show all the juicy animals.
So it's CJ, Sebastian, Matt, Wendy, Callie.
There's so many steps of this game that I'm just trying to, keep it moving at a reasonable pace.
Slow down, Noah. I know I've got everything up to, okay, so I've got Ayana, Owen, CJ, Jasmine, Andy.
If there's a point where I know I can really blast through something, I'm gonna blast through it as fast as I can.
CS, M, W, C, S, A, O, T, J, A, C, J, A.
Unscramble the alphabet soup to continue the hunt. This is where I'm about to get fucked.
Fuck the alphabet soup. Oh, I fucking hate the alphabet soup.
I just take one look at it. I wait about 5 seconds to see if maybe God is gonna bless me with the answer. He's out to lunch, not gonna do it. So I ask for a hint.
I would like a hint, please.
It's a bumpy flight ahead.
Turbulence!
Turbulence, Turbulence. It's third place in the ticking time bomb competition. It was Ayana.
I'm just gonna try shit out. Wendy? Oh wait, no, there's no way it was Wendy. Jasmine. Andy. Let's try Sarah.
I feel like I blast through the first few rounds pretty damn quick.
During really rapid relay race, this section yes. Here's your chance at redemption. I have to make the puzzle. Got it. So it's that thing and then the arrow. 3 spots, arrow. S, B.
Oh, okay, easy peasy. What's these little stones? Big bird, big. Ha.
The first thing that throws me is I see the solo cup.
What was the round on day 17 competition called? I could not remember the name of this one.
I knew this was going to come around to bite me in the ass, but I did not have the names of the fight or flight choices down for that week.
Hint.
It's a grave choice.
I immediately know it's life or death.
Sweet.
Got it. Ding, ding, ding.
Identify your past friends and foes in the above image. Use the instructions to find a word that will unlock the next round. 4th letter of hair, that's Wendy's hair. W-E-N-D. Left eye, that was Matt. M-A.
4th letter of right eye, that's Owen. O-W-E-N.
Is that Tegan's nose? D-A-N-T-E-A-G. I'm gonna guess the word is danger.
Probably didn't need to spell that one. 4th letter of nose. Who the fuck? Is that Callie? Does she have a nose ring? C-A-L-L. Okay, let's try that. And I'm gonna circle it because I'm not sure. 6th letter of mouth. Dear God, who the fuck's mouth is that? Alright, Jasmine? 3rd letter of dog. Fuck that, dude. I don't know that fucking dog's name.
Hint, please.
5th letter is a G.
What? Dang. Dange. Oh my God, danger. I'm so stupid. Oh, fuck.
On day 23, a chance for a secret power is up for grabs and no one is able to decode. You'll need to figure it out here to move on. The answer was the missing piece of a bit.ly. What is it? Hint. What should be in place of those symbols?
Anthony's like, oh, what's this code? No one got it. What is he talking about?
Anthony sends us a little clue, and I get it immediately. I'm like, oh, bit.ly. So then I'm like, oh, it's a bit.ly link. I gotta try to find it. I zoom in on the picture of him, and in the background, what's it called? Like a little whiteboard with letters on it and a slash in front of it, and I'm like, that's the code. Bit.ly, I try the letters capitalized. I try them undercase. I try just writing out like day 23. I'm trying everything, and I cannot get this code to work, and it's driving me crazy.
Hint. What should be in place of those symbols? Oh, fuck. Hashtag a rocket, a fist, an at. Oh boy. What should be in place of those symbols? There's nothing on that decoder puzzle.
At heart, luck, punch,
Hash rocket. It says Anthony. Well, congratulations, Noah. Actually, it was like all the symbols replaced a different letter, so that was actually pretty easy. I definitely overthought it.
At AWETRE. THR. The eliminated player returned.
I know that's day 17. I can lock that in from the beginning.
Second person, SEBASTIEN, 9 times the number, the day of keep or swap.
I had to swap all of those votes. I know it's day 6.
9 times 6, SEBASTIEN. 9 times 6 is 36. Number of people on the wheel in round 1. 14? 13.
Day 1, Callie and Owen are up for elimination. They tie. It does not resolve after a tiebreaker, and so everybody who is not the two of them or safe for the week gets put on the wheel. Great. Day 1, there's 16 of us. Minus 2, that's 14.
Did I do some math wrong? Letters in second boot's name, so that's SEBASTIEN. 9 times the day of keep or swap. Keep or swap was the day Matt and I were 9 times 6. Oh, 54.
That's a big blow on me.
17, 54, 13. Fuck.
Ultimately, I have to take another hint on this one because I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
For that last number, it was more than Callie and Owen who weren't on the wheel.
There were 5 people that were safe that week. There were 5, so 16, there were 9 on the wheel.
Of course.
Eliminated player returned, so it was CJ. It was the cup one, which was day 17. I remember that because that's the day I got Sarah out on the cups. Number 16 is my favorite number. 17 is almost my favorite number. And Sarah was almost my favorite elimination. That's how I remember. So 17, check, who gives a shit? Letters in second boot's name times day of swap, keep or swap. Second boot, Sebastian. I know that like I know my mom's name. Times the day of keep or swap. Well, that was the 6th day because it was the 3rd competition. So 9 times 6, 54. See you later. And then number of people on wheel round 1. So that was the number of people in the whole freaking game. Cool. So it was everybody except for Callie and Owen. All right, we're gonna do it like this. Yeah, that's just not possible. Oh, okay. After a little bit of, trying it out, finally I got the right number. Still don't know what it was because I was just blind with the adrenaline. What were the street types of the houses I would pick? It was brown, blue, brick. Somebody who was not me told me all the houses, so I also studied up on that, and I appreciate my fellow competitor for giving me this edge in the competition. Drive, loop, street, is that what he wants us to do? It's called reading the instructions on the test.
Black Bear Boulevard, and then Blue Bay Loop, and then Brick Red Street. Boulevard, Loop, Street. No punctuation or spaces. BLVDLOOPST. No. Punctuation spaces use the abbreviations, do not spell out. Click on the link for a zoomed in image. BLVD loop ST. Unless it was the brownstone? It was the brownstone.
I feel like I move pretty smoothly through the rest of the questions. I'm not struggling for answers.
Winner takes all.
When heartache saw. When heartache saw. Yeah, these are just one of those things where if you don't get it, you don't. I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is it, this is the end. Darkness was intruding on me, and then I was like, winner takes it all! Oh, which was wrong. Winner takes all. But winner takes all. Makes sense.
I'm gonna look at the race. In order to finish and lock in your time, you must answer one last question. Who is the greatest host ever? Anthony.
Anthony. gave himself a little pat on the back and had some self-confidence and said, who's the best host? And I love to see that. Oh, that's with Anthony. Congratulations, you made it.
I reached the end of these 12 steps. I'm told that my timer has been stopped. I feel good.
My game's fucking done, dude. I can't do anything else. It's in the hands of the Lord now.
I feel like I've made a really strong performance here. I just hope that it was enough to pull me through to the end here.
If my game ends here, I'm really proud of the game I've played. And if I get to the end, I think I can make a great case for myself against two boys who I feel have been riding off my coattails. So may the best woman win.
It's come down to this, and I hope to God that I am sitting in the final two and not casting the final vote on this jury.
This is going to be so exciting. I can't wait to see what happens.
I'm excited too. Woo!
Well, if it isn't Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Remember tonight, we have all the power.
Yes, finally.
So, hello, jury. The day we have all been waiting for has finally arrived. Tonight, you will name a winner to this competition. In preparation for tonight, I am going to hold a jury roundtable where we will weigh the games the Final Three has played this season. I am not here to influence you who the right winner is. In fact, I do not know who the right winner is. But I do want to remind you, your job is to decide who you believe played the best game. That being said, make sure you are taking your job seriously, properly listening to what the final two are saying, and considering whatever you need to consider to make a decision you feel proud of. To start off, we're going to run through each of the final three. I will ask that we start by making a case for each person. So this means I'm not interested in hearing why that person shouldn't win. I just want to hear why that person should win. And we're going to do this for all three of the remaining players. So we're going to start with Andres. Why should Andres win this game?
Andres definitely recognized coming into this game that he was going to be at a disadvantage in terms of being a boy, and that there was definitely kind of a move to get the boys out sooner rather than later. And I think that he clearly stayed longer than all of us and was able to, keep himself alive and not on the chopping block. So that's a positive.
I'm sympathetic towards Andres to a degree because he did put his neck on the line for me during that partner elimination challenge. And for as long as I was in the game, he was very tried and true to me.
What would we say Andres' biggest moves are?
When the round, all the verses, the double down day, when it came down to kind of switching him being off the chopping block to Owen being the chopping block, I think it was like a monumental moment in the game. There were just so many moments where Andres really kind of somehow managed to flip himself and get people on his side. And on top of that, the final six was one of the biggest moves. Instead of him being on the chopping block, he managed to get 4 people to eliminate CJ.
He also voted for the Friends, which was a very contentious decision that he made, and it was a risk.
Yeah, he always did a great job of riding the line between the two sides of the game. No one ever really knew where he was, but also no one ever saw that as a problem.
Yeah, I think he knew he was the deciding vote for a lot of the eliminations. And I think he was able to use that to get people he wanted out and to screw over people in the game that he wanted to screw over.
Why should Andres not win the game? What's working against him?
I think that he got to ride on a lot of Claire's moves, and I think he didn't have to take a lot of the heat that Claire took for those moves, yet he got to benefit from it. So for me, that kind of takes points away.
Yeah, and when he's had the chance, I know Andy brought up the partner elimination challenge. When he was up on the chopping block and Keegan brought up his name, he didn't really defend himself. It was Noah and CJ that said that Owen should be out. If they didn't do that, Andres would have been gone that week.
I think specifically for me, after he voted for Friends, when he told us he was going to vote for Foes, he tried to call me after the thing to explain himself. And he was basically like, I was trying to hint to you during the thing that I was going to flip the other way. And I was kind of like, well, you could have just said it because we were going to find out anyway. So I was just kind of like, if you're going to make power moves like that, I think you need to own it, because you can't say you dislike me the most and also screw me over in one round and expect me to kiki with you afterwards and be like, I totally get why you did it.
Let's move on to Noah. Why should Noah win the game?
Somehow he always knew that he was out of the loop. He's always hinted that he knew about the big groups and he still made major moves. And I think that's a really, really good play on his part. He wasn't as sneaky as Claire and Andres. And even though we can value that as a strategy, I think what he did was somehow more wholesome. And I really respect the kind of game that he did. He's told me to my face, he's like, I know I'm out of the loop. I stuck with Claire. So that's kind of how that happened. And he kind of just stuck with it. And he knew he was disliked and he still played a really, really good game. He made it to top 3.
Yeah, I think a big struggle for a lot of us here in jury is that when we were set in our initial cards, there's some people that we didn't get to talk to. Noah talked to just about the gamut of people that were in the game. A larger gamut than any of us, I'd probably say. I do think that gives him an advantage overall.
Whenever we decided on a vote with him, he always voted the same way. I didn't get like a lie from him ever. And also, even when he brought up my name to be voted out, he kind of just said like what he was thinking. He was like, we haven't really talked and I've talked to everyone else. And I was like, I mean, sure, I get it.
A big flaw in not everyone else's game, but most of other people's games was that they were trying to protect themselves and then also other people. And people often stuck their necks out for other people. And he never did that because his entire tactic the whole game was just self-preservation. And I think that's what got him to where he was, because he never had to show his cards and put himself on the line to save someone else.
What are moves we can point to, specific weeks that Noah made big moves?
I think the biggest move was definitely the swap with Matt, hands down. I think that was incredible. I don't think any of us thought it was actually going to work because we all thought Matt was going to catch on, but Noah somehow managed to put a performance while that was going on. And I think that's really, really good. On top of him also being on the chopping block with the double down day versus, I think that was also a big move on his part.
This isn't necessarily a big move, but in the relay puzzle challenge, when the red group was waiting, Noah played us a song on his guitar, and I was like, oh, that's really cute, and I like that.
Andy kind of credited Andres to the Hares week, but I would honestly credit that to Noah, because Noah went, well, Owen, I'm voting for you, and everything just shut down. Like, that was it. It was done.
Why shouldn't Noah win the game?
This is a weak one. But personality-wise, I think that, like Owen said, he had maybe some moments in smaller groups, but I didn't necessarily get his presence across a larger group, and I feel like other people played similar games to him, and we were hearing them talk and speak up more. And I could maybe make an argument that I don't think he took so many risks. While he made big moves like we just discussed that were successful, in comparison to his 2 competitors that remain, I don't think he took as big of risks as them and put himself out there like that.
For a long time, I feel like a lot of people knew here, I really didn't enjoy Noah in the game for a very long time because I never really noticed him. Basically, the entire game, I feel like he was a little quiet compared to everyone else. But also, I completely respect that. He made it really far.
I don't know about Andres' challenge wins, but I don't think Noah won any challenges. And maybe that's something we can take into consideration.
Noah did win the faux competition when Joe, Noah, and Ayana played.
Oh.
Just to fact check.
Gotcha.
Let's move on to Claire. Why should Claire win the game?
She's won a lot. So in terms of statistics, she is technically the most successful player.
She also, I just think, played the hardest and the most strategic out of the final 3, or really any of us.
Yeah, Claire positioned herself in this game to the point that I think there are multiple weeks where we could say Claire controlled what happened, essentially. Like if you were to track it all down, I think she played an iconic villain game. She made a lot of us upset. It was to her benefit, and that's why she is where she is.
Iconic villain.
Why shouldn't Claire win?
It would just be incredibly unsatisfying as a viewer from a narrative perspective. Nobody wants to see the villain win in the end. It's like, I can respect Ursula's hustle, but I still want Ariel to get her voice back at the end of the story. You feel me?
We all knew Tegan was chomping at the bit to get that out.
I think another part of that was, although I do completely respect Claire's game, it was strategic. God, every single move she made upset me. I think the other part of the game in being in fight or flight is realizing that there is a jury in the end, and not realizing that there is a jury in the end and screwing everyone over in a large way ruins her strategy in the long run, I think. Play a beautiful game, upset everyone, do what you got to do, give the audience a show, but in the end there are 8 people that are going to vote for you, and if you're going to upset them, I think that is a flaw in your strategy.
I do want to touch upon that point that Andy just brought up. Is it okay to be a bitter juror? What is a bitter juror? Is there such thing as a bitter juror? I don't know the answer to any of these, but I do kind of want to weigh maybe what that line is.
I think something Jasmine brought up the other day is what I think of when I think of Claire. When Jasmine kind of talked about these like unnecessary types of lies that Claire would say, like she would make you feel loved, like in your core, and then turn around and stab you in the back. That's different than just saying, I'm going to vote for one person and then vote for another. She's saying like, I want to have you in the game. I think you're so cool. I want to see us as top 2. And then flipping that is a little different than being like, I'm going to vote with you, and then voting a different way.
Also, I think it's one of those things where if you play a shady game, that's your game. But then if there's a shady jury, I feel that that's a byproduct of the game. So to me, I'm like, if you did nothing but stab people in the back, lie to people, and steamroll over everybody, then we all have the right to be bitter jurors. Because I'll tell you this, there's a lot of people in this room right now who maybe did me wrong at a certain point, but I have more respect for what they did because I feel like they had loyalty to someone and something. Whereas in this situation, I 100% feel influenced by the events of the game and by what I've heard everyone say as they joined the jury every single round.
As far as Andres and Noah, I kind of look at their positioning in the game, like their kind of social ranking. They both knew that they did not have a lot of fans, or at the very least, for every fan they had, at least 2 people who wanted to get them out. And I think that Claire came in with a lot of friends and made friends along the way in the game. And what differs between the 2 of them is that I think that what Andres and Noah did to continue in the game was for their survival, like because they knew that they did not have as many people on their side. Claire had people on her side and chose to backstab those people, kind of volleying between which group of people she wanted to backstab, depending on, how it was going to serve her in that round. And, while that's a strategy that clearly worked for her and is clearly successful, I think that, to Tegan's point, that when you are backstabbing multiple people, you have to expect that to come back in the jury. That, that is the reason we fight to get to juries, so that you do have that power.
I will say the biggest deception, like pre-jury to me, was her choosing Sarah to leave. That was insane. Because at that point, I don't even think Claire was the biggest threat in the game. It was Sarah. Sarah's not even on jury, and I'm shocked.
We had just decided, literally, I think days before, like, we're locking this in. The reason why I did it, and I don't necessarily hold it that much against her, is because I think in this game, whenever one person has a lot of power, it is an opportunity to make a big move.
You will still have a lot more time to weigh this decision because you will get to hear from the finalists themselves. Who are those finalists? There's still 3 people left in the competition. We will have a final 2. I do promise you that. So let me catch you up to speed on where we're at. Last night, we came into the Zoom and I announced the final twist of the season. Instead of voting to eliminate someone, everyone would vote to save one person. The safe person would immediately advance to final 2, and the other 2 would compete in a competition that would decide who would fill the remaining finalist spot. The loser will join the jury tonight. The 3 of them do not yet know the results of this competition, but what they do know is the results of the vote. So, does anyone want to take a guess on who is already a member of the final 2?
I would assume probably Claire. Because if I was them, I'd be like, they're all pissed at Claire. Let me vote in Claire.
The person who was voted into the final 2 is Andres. So Andres will be a finalist. Noah and Claire competed in a competition last night. They're here in the waiting room and they're about to find out the results of that competition. So everyone, please turn off your videos now, mute yourself, do not turn them back on until I tell you to do so. Hello, final 3. Welcome to the final day of this competition. It is day 35. You have lasted as long as you can day-wise, but one of you must go before the final two.
This is a 24 hours from hell for me. I hate the suspense, knowing that this is really going to be a close competition, I think.
I feel nervous. I'm not sure if I should be practicing my speech to the jury or my jury question. I have no idea what's going on. I feel super nervous. Butterflies in my stomach vibes.
Tonight, this journey will come to an end, and one of you will become the first ever winner of Fight or Flight. As I said, Andres, last night during the safety vote, you were granted your spot in the final two.
It's kind of crazy not knowing who I'm going to sit next to. I kind of have to prepare to sit next to either of them.
Either Claire or Noah will be joining you to complete our finalists.
I think I'm hoping that Noah sits next to me. He kind of convinced me in the last round that I would have a pretty good chance against him. But honestly, I think that I have a pretty equal chance against either of them.
Noah and Claire, you both competed in a 12-part scavenger hunt last night to decide who would earn that spot, and one of you came out on top. It is super close, and with penalties included, in those final scores, there's only a difference of 4 seconds between the two of you, meaning we had a very difficult night of just making sure we completely scored this correctly and timed it correctly down to the second. We did our due diligence, and your scores are calculated, and here's our final call. Claire. Congratulations, you are the winner of the final challenge of the season and have secured your place in the final two. Noah, you are unfortunately eliminated from the game and will join the jury as its final member.
I didn't expect to make it this far in the competition, so I'm thrilled to have made it to final three. But just like knowing that it came down to a 4-second difference between sitting on jury and sitting at the final two, I can't help but just kick myself for the tiny little mistakes I made throughout that entire challenge. Damn, y'all, this has been a hell of a ride. I commend you both. Incredible game. Claire, congratulations. And good luck to the both of you. It's going to be a hell of a night, I think.
Noah, you put up an excellent fight, but it's time for you to flight.
I don't get to sit at the end. I'm final juror. I'm headed out of this game, which sucked to feel so close to the end, especially after fighting like hell to get here and to stay in this thing. You know, it definitely sucks to be so close and to not quite get the chance at the win. But, you know, from the very beginning, this was going to be a fierce fucking game. There was never a point where we could get comfortable. I'm, you know, stoked that I made it so far. And while it sucks to not be at the end, this was a hell of a game.
Congratulations, Andre Sinclair. You are the final two of this competition.
I'm glad that I squeaked it out. Wasn't really expecting to, but I've got my tits out, clear eyes, clear head, and I'm going to do everything I can to try and get these suckers to vote for me.
I think that I've had to make really hard decisions in this game. I think that I deserve this. I think I played the best game. I was on the right side of every vote, and I don't think that it makes sense for anyone else to win but me.
Please welcome Ayana, Owen, Tegan, Joe, Anna, CJ, Jasmine, Andy, and Noah. This is your jury, and ultimately, these are the people who will decide who the winner of this competition will be.
Ultimately, I think that I can convince the jury to vote for me to win, even though I've slighted quite a few of them.
A lot of the jury is there because of me, and so I don't expect them to be throwing me softballs, but I also know a lot of them are pretty upset with Andres as well.
I'm now going to give Andres and Claire a chance to share their opening speeches to the jury. Andres, you are up first.
Oh God, 90 seconds is not a lot. Okay, I thought going into this that my biggest weakness was going to be my overly sensitive Pisces nature, but I think I mostly succeeded in overcoming that in this game, for better or worse. There are so many of you I wanted to keep playing this game with longer, but you can't get to the end with everyone. If I frustrated your game, I'm sorry. It wasn't personal. It was just in service of my own. In this game, I was the only one on the right side of every elimination vote. I was the deciding vote on a lot of these, and I think it showed on my face how seriously I took that responsibility, especially when I liked all of these people. But I always made what I believed to be the best strategic decision. I was always prepared to accept the consequences, and I worked to get back the trust of my closest allies when I made moves against them. I think that all of this is a testament to my strong social game. I'm proud of my game. I don't think I outright tricked or fooled anyone in this jury, with the exception of making a promise to Jasmine that I couldn't keep. Just about everyone here flipped and flopped at some point against someone who trusted them, but obviously I'm the one up here, so I'm fully prepared to answer for every single flip or flop I might have made. I have major foot and mouth syndrome, so I'm sure this will only go downhill from here, but thank you all for helping me get here, whether that was by choice or not. I had a blast playing with you all, and as a true masochist, I look forward to you letting me fucking have it.
Thank you, Andres. Claire, the floor is now yours.
I think I'm surprised as anyone that I'm here right now, because people have been identifying me as a threat and gunning for my neck since Matt, which was Elimination 3 when he called me out. So I think there are 3 reasons why I'm here today. Point 1, I think that I blindsided people early and often. I was instrumental in getting Sebastian out. I helped get Matt out with the swap, and also I single-handedly took out Sarah, who I believed was the biggest threat in this game at the time, and I think she would be here had I not done that. I also aligned myself with people I knew would take me to the end, specifically Noah and Andres. I made a solid pact with, while also maintaining relationships with other people who I could work with without making concrete promises. I know that the ladies particularly probably think that I'm a lying ass bitch, and I'm happy to talk about it during this question and answer session. I honestly owe my game to Jasmine, and I apologize for having to ultimately stab you in the heart. That was not cool, but I did put my eggs in the right basket because Andre Snowden and I ended up being the final 3. And finally, I won challenges at pivotal moments, like the cup challenge that I mentioned before, but also the memory challenge. I got Tegan out. I think Tegan would be here if that hadn't happened. I got power, and I tried to take out the biggest threat that I could identify at the time. I don't think I'm a rude person. I may have played one on Zoom TV. And honestly, I love Andres. He's one of those people that when he's your friend, you're like, he's so cool. And also maybe I'll be cooler because I'm with him. So I'm not going to try and tear him down. But this is fight or flight, not friend or flight. And I think I played a better game than him in the end.
Thank you, Claire. Jury, I'm now going to ask that you all turn off your videos. One at a time, I will call you up when it is your turn to present. We will do this in the order you were all eliminated in. So that means, Ayana, you're up first.
My name was in a lot of mouths at the beginning, and I tried to lay low because of that, but clearly that didn't work out. The people who made it to the top have played the game hard continuously, and despite the bitterness you're about to experience from this jury, I have to congratulate you. As a fan of reality competition, I have a lot of respect for how ruthless you both have been. I've been quiet and observant in jury because it's clear to me that the game completely changed after my elimination. That being said, Friends or Foes was a turning point in this game. If you could do anything differently on that night, would you, and why or why not? And that goes for both of you.
I don't ultimately regret my decision of friend or foe, but I do regret that my survey answers got you into the foe group. Like almost certainly I had you for a lot of the negative answers. I ultimately just did not know where your head was at. You were playing a really good low-key game, but because of that, you were the one I talked to the least. And so even though I don't regret my decision of choosing friends over foes, I regret that I landed you there 100%.
I voted for foes. I remember talking to you during that round, and I thought that we'd gotten Andres over. So that round was just really hard. Like personally, that round was really hard. Hearing those surveys was really hard. So I guess if I could have done something different, I would have taken a Dramamine so that I would not remember it now. So that's it. Yeah.
I want to know how your guys' game changed after that, because from everybody coming into jury, I know that it got really, really intense. So I just want to know from your perspective, what happened after that?
For me personally, because it was so hard for me to decide between friend or foe, Jasmine came to me afterward and told me that she had taken my vote for granted, that she just assumed that she could count on my vote, and I think that changed our relationship going forward for a while. I think we touched base a bit more because of that.
I actually think the game shifted the round before. You were part of that too. Remember like the red and blue team thing? I remember it was like all the girls, we were all voting together. And then you and Sarah came in and you were like, we're not sure if we're going to flip on Callie. And I remember that. And I was like, I can't trust these people. And that's when I think things started to tear apart. Because then when you left too, by like, we didn't vote you out, you just got out. It was like the numbers were more even. And so things started to kind of go crazy just because people started to go against each other who I think would have worked together for a longer time had all of the trust remained there.
Hello. It's hard to imagine from day one that this would be the top two. And I don't want to vote for either of you to win the game. When I left the game, I said I won't be voting for Andres under any circumstances to win this game. And while I feel so strongly in that way, very, very strongly, it's honestly a little more up in the air after hearing everyone come into the jury and share their story. So I would pick maybe any other person on the jury to vote for over the two of you if given the chance. But I mean that's a great way to play. I mean I can't fault you for it, you know? I mean that's why you got them all out. So I want to know what makes you less of a backstabber or liar than your competitor, and what makes your competitor more disreputable than you.
I lied to Matt and I lied to Jasmine. Not on purpose, I didn't want to, but things got complicated. Everyone else, I don't think that I was like, oh, I'm not going to vote for you, and then did. So I don't think I stabbed anyone in the back. I stabbed them in the front, and they watched me put the knife in them. So yes, I wish that things could have been nicer, but when it gets to the end, everyone's as close as they are, and it's so few people, it's gonna be messy. So I do apologize if anyone has hard feelings. Owen, I had nothing to do with you getting eliminated. I actually think I worked with you for most of the game, so it makes me sad that you didn't value that connection, but that's okay.
Yeah, I don't think that I stabbed people in the back per se. I think that there were actually quite a few moments where Claire wanted to flip the votes and I prevented it from happening. So it was for Anna, it was for Jasmine. There were times where she wanted to flip the vote and potentially stab people in the back, but I prevented that from happening. I didn't really stab people in the back. I helped maybe other people stab people in the back, like Andy kind of stabbed CJ in the back, and maybe I coaxed her into doing that. You know, when it was you or me, I would not have wanted to get you out. It was other people who campaigned for you, and then it was me or you.
I just wanted to say for Claire, it's like nothing personal, bro. But also to Andres' point, I was speaking more to the friend or foe vote. But thank you for your answers.
You know, I don't have a speech really. I don't have much to say. I think I've been pretty upfront about my feelings the entire game, and they haven't changed much. So, you know, you've both made obviously moves that have led you to the top two, but I wonder, looking back, do you have any regrets or anything that you wish you had done differently?
I wish that I had answered some things differently on that survey. It was really hard to read those answers out loud and hurt some people's feelings. I also wish that I hadn't made a promise to Jasmine that I couldn't keep. Even though I'm not sure that I could have survived that vote without doing that, I still just wish that I hadn't done that.
Andres, Noah, and I decided that we were going to vote out Jasmine. And then I talked to Andy and Jasmine. I felt bad about it. I didn't feel right about it. And I basically said to them, like, what do you guys think about an all-girls final three? Let's blindside one of them. Let's do it. And we made this whole plan. And then I forgot that there was a power in play, and it would have really complicated the person who had the powers game, and it would have just fucked everything up. And so I went back on my word, and I didn't do that. And I think that was a time when I let fear lead the way. And I wish that instead I hadn't done that, because I just think things would have gone differently. I would have less guilt, and it just seemed snaky and I wasn't for it.
Congratulations, you both did the damn thing. This was very difficult, so I am very impressed that you both did. I also want to say that I'm coming in completely undecided, but I do have some questions. First one is going to be for Andres. what was the biggest move you made in the game that Claire doesn't know about, or at least didn't until after the fact?
There were a lot of moves that we made together, to be honest. I think that there were a lot of last minute decisions that I made that we were going to be on the same boat as, and then I changed it up. But I don't think I'm having a hard time thinking of something that I just straight up did completely behind her back. She had no idea about. Yeah.
And then Claire, you obviously played a very out in the open game. A lot of your stuff was very showcased in front of everyone, and you played a very cutthroat, very hard game. But looking back, is there any time in the game where you found yourself playing maybe too hard or maybe telling lies that you maybe didn't have to tell?
Sure. I think like every confessional I was in, when they'd be like, what are you going to do next week? I'd be like, lay low, like do nothing, like just kind of blend in. And Andres and I actually had a conversation on one of these things he's referring to where I want to flip it, where like I just want to flip it. I don't know why. I just want to. If everyone's going to vote one way, I want to vote a different one. Like I remember CJ said one thing. She's like, you want to vote with the majority. And it's like, I just don't. And so I didn't expect to learn anything about myself in this game. No offense to you, Anthony. It's just a fake reality TV show on Zoom. But ultimately, I learned that I crave chaos and it gets me in trouble. And sometimes, basically the whole entire game, Joe, I wish I would have just been a little chiller and kind of just fucking chilled out.
Andres, congrats. Did you think that me giving you the power gave you an advantage in getting past the top 5?
I think it gave me an advantage going into top 6. I think that you leaving also gave me an advantage because Noah and Claire were worried that I was more closely aligned with you. And so when you left, it allowed me to double down on my alliance with them. And also I used the power in the same way that you did as leverage over them. I offered to use it on them. I made sure that I was in the now group and they were in the later group so that I could make sure that I saved myself first. And then later on, if I had to use it, I could use it for top 5.
Great. Anthony, let me know if she can do this, if she says yes. But Claire, would you care to share your survey results from many moons ago?
If Anthony can send them to me, I just don't have them.
I can try to pull them up.
Okay. Who is your closest ally in the game? I put Andres. Who do you want to sit with at the end? I put Noah. If it can't be you, who would you most like to see win this game? I put Andres. Who is the realest player? I put Owen. Who is the nicest player? I put Andy. Who do you like the most? I put Tegan. Who is your biggest foe in the game? I put Jasmine. Who do you want out next? I put Joe. Who would you least like to win this game? I put Joe. Sorry, Joe. This is all stuff about what happened in a past game with Ian. Who is the fakest player? I put Joe. Who is the meanest player? I put Owen. And who do you dislike the most? I put Joe.
I think it's clear based on what you both have said thus far that you maybe have played games that you weren't necessarily proud of. So I guess I'm kind of interested to hear what kind of game you thought you were going to play coming into this competition. And then, hearing you guys describe in your own words the game that you actually played, because I think we've all been able to describe how we see it, but I would like to hear it from you all. And I also would like to clarify, Claire, you did lie to my face and tell me that you weren't going to vote for me. And we have it on recording, so we can run that back when we need to. Yeah.
I'm not voting for you. Sorry.
No, I
okay, I can go first. What kind of games did I think I was gonna play? This is an interesting one because no one's ever played Fight or Flight. Like, what do you know how to expect? So in my little intro video, I was like, I'm gonna fight. And I think the first 5 rounds I flighted. And so that was a shock. I definitely didn't think I would lie to anybody. I'm sorry that I did that. I literally forgot. So it's possible I lied way more than I said and I backstabbed all of you. And if so, I apologize. And I knew I was going to work with Andres. I didn't know I was going to work with him to this extent. So some of the people I thought coming into the game I was going to align with, like maybe you and some other people, I didn't go that direction. So it definitely was. I was surprised as I was going along. I was like, wow, I am living in my body and doing these things. So
I think going into this, I also thought I was going to choose fight a lot more. I thought I would see myself as more of a challenge beast than a social threat, but I think I actually ended up playing a really good social game in my eyes, which is something I never expected. I have terrible social skills. But yeah, I think it was kind of hard toggling back and forth between different groups that I liked and wanted to work with. But ultimately, I did work with Claire and Noah from day one. And at some point, I really doubled down on that. And I wanted to take them to the end. And I ended up at the end with them. And I am proud of that. And I am proud of my game.
Hi, guys. You guys literally look so good. I can't get over it. Andres, you look so hot. I already said that to you. Okay. You guys, you hurt my feelings. You guys hurt my feelings. I love you both very, very much. And I do really respect both of your games and I admire it. And that's why I'm undecided at this time. So I have a question for each of you. Claire, hypothetically, if the power hadn't come into play, or, you know, let's say like you hadn't let the power influence you, like either one of those, would you really have wanted to be top 3, top 4 with me? Like, was that something that you really wanted, or it was kind of always the plan per your survey results, like to not do that?
We did have like a kind of come to Jesus moment, you and I, where it was like, you were like, I sense that you're hesitant. And I told you very honestly, I think that there are just some relationships that you would absolutely put over me. And I was like, that's no fault. I just know that if it gets down to it, you would pick those people. And when you reassured me, and then when you gave me safety that week, I trusted you and I believed you. If it had not been a situation like the one that we had, where it was either me, Noah, or you, I never, ever would have voted you or even considered it. And I remember being in that chat with you and I was like, I totally forgot about this thing, because there was no right way to go. Because let's say Noah stays in, then he knows I voted against him and I'm fucked. So yeah, I really, really wanted to help you in that moment. I would have, if this was you and Andy, I would have been fine with it, because you at the end were almost a player like Andres with me, where it's like, I voted to save Andres, not because I think I can beat him, because I just like love him as a player and I think he deserves to get to the end. And that's how I was starting to feel about you. But it would have just literally imploded my entire game with that power in play. It would have put Andres in a difficult situation and it would have fucked me if you didn't win that comp against Noah.
Andres, hi. From where I'm sitting, how it looked, and you've clarified some of it in your answers and in your opening speech, to even just how you gave us a bird's eye view of your game. But for me, it really does feel like not so much you and Claire working together, but it felt like Claire making big moves that you kind of got to ride on because you were working together in a quiet way, and she would take heat. And I don't know, I guess I just want to say, can you go back against that if it's not true, or, you know, speak to her impact on your game? And do you agree or not agree that she was key to getting where you are right now?
I feel like we made a lot of choices together, especially early in this game. We both wanted to get Sebastian out. We both wanted Sarah out. Yeah, I absolutely let Claire take the heat for a lot of that. And she made ultimately the move to get Sarah out. And yeah, we played a lot of this game together, but there was a lot of moves that I made that she was not a part of. She was not on the right side of the vote for that. It was friend or foe, the vote for Anna versus Joe as well. So ultimately, I forced her to change her vote a lot of the time. So I don't think it's true that she led this game entirely. I think I led it just as much, if not more. Yeah, I kind of like, I feel like I want to say more related to the question you asked Claire, which is that I 100% think that if I had kept you, Claire, you, and Andy would have gone against me. I suspected that. I said it to her. And ultimately, there was like no other choice than to eliminate you, and we did. But yeah, I definitely regret making that promise to you.
Andres, I feel like you already answered this. After Anna left, I feel like that was a huge pivotal point. Was that like the moment that you realized, okay, we can all make top 3 and strategize that?
Going into final 6, I knew, and I talked to Claire and Noah before that round started. I knew that CJ and Jasmine were going to be impossible to beat at the end. So I thought that they should go out next, and they agreed. after that, I thought maybe the final four would be what it was, which was you, me, Claire, and Noah. And from there, like, you can't really plan that far ahead. I definitely thought about the possibility that you would be in final three with us. And I would have loved that too. But ultimately, I think that what I know, because you presented me with the option. I know. But at that point in the game, I think you were kind of a loose cannon, and it didn't make sense for me to turn on Claire.
Cool. I guess my other small question is, I just wonder, what do you think you were perceived as, not just with us, but with the audience? Like, if there was one or two words to describe yourself as a contestant, what would they be?
I'm surprised you knew that you were leaving, because when you pulled out that power, I was certain that I was leaving. I thought that that was probably the best move of the game. No, I'm like, why? I just want to mention it because that was fucking awesome. Well, how do I think I was perceived? Everyone who has left the game has said the game is going to be boring now, and everyone here is unlikable. So from that, I'm guessing that some players felt that me and maybe Andres were boring and unlikable. I think that I was a little bit of a floater. I did have different agreements and alliances, but I think I floated between different groups. I think basically everybody on the jury I did something with or planned something with or strategized with. So that's how I feel.
I think that when the audience watches this back, they're probably going to think I was kind of aloof, maybe stupid. There were a lot of instructions I didn't listen to. I even fucked up a vote. The Matt Noah vote got me confused and I fucked it up. So I think they'll probably think I'm pretty stupid. But hopefully a kind soul who played a pretty honest game.
As the last member of this jury, I am so stoked. You know, if I can't be there, I am so excited for both of you. You both have played a hell of a game and deserve this. We played this game from the beginning. I've kind of been in the loop on all of it. And so I guess I'm going to try to toss some somewhat difficult stuff your way because I still haven't made up my mind. Claire, you obviously had a reputation as a villain in this game, as someone who consistently lied to people's faces, stabbed people in the back, etc. Ultimately, I think you played a really strong game, and throughout the whole game, you kept me in the loop, whereas other times I didn't necessarily feel the same way with Andres. But you definitely did make some serious enemies. You didn't play the nicest game by any stretch, and definitely stabbed some people where it hurt. Andres, you arguably played the quote-unquote better game. My gut said Andres deserves to sit at the end, and if however it ends, I think Andres's game deserves to sit at the end of this. However, I also want to bring up, whereas Claire was kind of a competition beast, there were a few times I high-key saved your ass. I don't think you would be here by any stretch had I not advocated for you on multiple occasions, potentially even yesterday's vote. So Claire, I feel like, definitely fought her way to the end here, whereas you may have been a little bit flightier. All of those things being said, I guess, is there any contradiction to that you can give me to like cement the argument one way or the other?
Yeah, well, I'll say I think that we both saved each other a lot of the time. There was a lot of times where I was cluing you in. So I'm kind of surprised to hear you say that Claire was cluing you in when I wasn't, because I was the one who told you at the last second to bring CJ back so you would be on the right side of the vote. I was always trying to loop you in. There was one time when I didn't, which was the friend or foe vote. At that point, I was a little suspicious of you because the red team versus blue team, and it really seemed like you were going to go with the red team. And then, you know, things changed. But I think to both of our credit, we gained each other's trust back and we rode that out to the end.
I'm surprised that you say that Andres had a stronger game than me. I completely disagree with you. I think that there was not a single session where I felt like, oh, this is going to go the way I want, or this is going to be easy. Because I think that you're right. I had to fight almost every single time I logged onto the Zoom. It was very, very tiresome. There are a lot of big moves that I pulled off by just fucking grinding. And so that's cool. That's obviously you played closely with us, so maybe you're right, but I just respectfully disagree. This isn't going well for me, so I'm going to be honest. I can't believe you don't know who you're going to vote for, because if it was you and Andres, I would vote for Andres, and I knew that coming into it. So it's like you did play closely with us, and if you truly think that Andres played a better game, then you should vote for him, and that's how I feel.
Thank you both. Good luck.
Thank you, jurors. Final two, I will now give you a chance for closing statements. This will be the last remarks you have before the jurors will vote. Before Andres went first, Claire, you will go first this time.
Thanks for all of that. Obviously, I played a bit of a risky game. I told some lies. I did some bad stuff. But ultimately, it was because all of you guys were big competitors and it wasn't going to be easy. And I was fine with being not nice. And so I do think I played a stronger game than Andres. I think that I made some really, really big moves. I think I won a lot of competitions and I got big players out. And ultimately, if I win, I will donate half of the money to Best Buddies, and with the other half, I'll buy my cat Moo a bee costume. So that's really all I have to say. Thank you to Anthony and Jake for making such a great game. I know it must have been very fucking difficult to get everyone in the Zoom on time, and we're here now, baby. Thank you.
I think that even just through this whole session, I think it's clear that me and Claire both played really good games. I really respect the game that she played, and I told her that a lot of the time and told her that I would be happy to sit here with her. I think that this was a really hard game because we forgot that once we get really far in this game, if you keep your friends around for a long time, it's just going to hurt that much worse when you have to turn on them or when you have to get rid of someone. So this was just a really, really tough game. Ultimately, one of the biggest reasons I chose Claire and Noah was because we were getting a lot of hate in this game, like, and not like the outright hate, except for actually Claire did get some outright hate, but there were a lot of like shady things said about us, and I thought it would be really great if we all made it to the end together, because I don't think we were actually all terrible, mean people who made a bunch of shady decisions. I think we just played good games, and yeah, and I'm proud of us.
Jurors, the time has come. Please private message me your vote now. As a reminder, you are voting for the person you would like to see win this game.
I'm feeling nervous for sure, but also I know that we're both in the same kind of position.
It does seem like it's a bit of a toss-up right now. I really hope that it's me who wins. I think I made the best case I could make for myself, and I just hope that the jury respected my game.
The winner of the first ever season of Fight or Flight is Claire. Congratulations, Claire. You are the winner of the first ever season of Fight or Flight.
Fight! I'm so excited. I really played really hard, probably harder than I should have. So I'm glad that my hard work paid off.
You guys are silly.
Someone's got to be the villain, and I guess this time it was me. But kids at home, villains don't usually win, so be sure to be nice to people and always tell the truth.
I am not super surprised that Claire won. I'm definitely disappointed to have gotten this close and fallen just a little short. I definitely feel proud of the game that I played. I said that quite a few times during the jury. I don't regret a lot of things in this game. Of course, I fell a little short, but ultimately I had a good time, and I was happy to sit with Claire at the end.
I'm glad that in the end, the jury saw the kind of game that I played and they rewarded me for it. I'm proud to be the inaugural winner of Fight or Flight. Thanks to everyone who played and everyone who set it up.
My vote is for Claire because she has been playing hard from the beginning and she had to take the fall for a lot of things and still ended up making it to the end, and that's pretty amazing.
My vote is for Claire because she didn't screw me over, and I think she played the best game.
My vote is for Claire because I truly believe she has played the smartest, boldest, and most ruthless game. I can't imagine anyone else but her taking this home right now.
My vote is for Claire because she absolutely played the best game from start to finish. I am so impressed with her, and she absolutely deserves this.
My vote is for Andres because he was very loyal and truthful to me throughout the game.
My vote is for Andres. Even though he and I didn't really play together this game, I think that that's turning out to be in his benefit just because I don't really have that much negative to say about him. So he gets my vote.
My vote is for Claire because I think she played a really strong, villainous, and risky, smart game.
My vote is for Claire because I think that her speeches really were super convincing and narrowed down the exact game that she played, and it was beautiful.
My vote is for Claire because I think she played a dangerous game, a fierce game, and she wasn't afraid to make big moves to progress herself. And for that, I think she deserves this win.
It's the final four. Everyone is being insane. I guess that's better for their game. Maybe I've been doing the same. I don't really trust anyone, and if I do, I gaslight myself until I don't. I guess I've been kind of doing the most. I keep flipping all of the votes. I'm sorry I voted you out, Andy. Sorry I voted you out, Jasmine. I'm not sorry you got booted, Tegan. You told me you don't like me. I think that's a good reason. I'm sorry that I voted you out, Sarah. And I'm sorry that I voted you out, Callie. I keep having this nightmare that the evicted players meet me in an alley and I must choose to fight or flight.